Chris, it's not what it looks like.
You are tearing me apart, the Room Blu-ray!
Steve can't finish your curtail. Let's see what he has to say. What's he got for us this time? They're probably Blu-rays.
Aficionados Chris.
It's a guilty pleasure.
Aficionados Chris.
It's a comfort measure.
Aficionados
Shine the lights, shoot the camera, smile for the world in panorama. He likes to impersonate Walk-On. Hey everybody, Aficionados Chris here. Hope you enjoyed that little intro. I am reviewing Tommy Wiseau's The Room, which is finally on Blu-ray. Now, it may be strange to say, but this is actually one movie I've been really looking forward to see on Blu-ray. Now, this thing actually was announced back in 2011 along with a 3D re-release of The Room, which I believe Tommy Wiseau is still working on. I would like to see what he does with that. But back to the Blu-ray, this thing, at first glance, it's like, why would I want to buy this movie on Blu-ray? I mean, it's such a, to a lot of people, it's such a bad movie. Why would I want to spend $35.99 on The Room on Blu-ray when I could yada, yada, yada? So I am here to talk about the pros and the cons about the Blu-ray, and surprisingly, there are not a lot of cons about this Blu-ray. I am genuinely surprised, And yes, to a lot of people, yes, it is a bad movie, but come on, this movie is awesome in its own way. It's hilarious. It's incredibly enjoyable. The reason why it's so popular is because so many people went out to see it at midnight screenings. It has a Rocky Horror kind of effect where people go and they have a ball. They yell at the movie. They throw things at the movie. I believe the two things they throw are plastic spoons and footballs. If you've seen the movie, you already know how those come into play. But again, with The Room, one thing I got to talk about, the picture quality is actually pretty good. I will say this much. Tommy Wiseau himself, has said The Room was shot with two different cameras, and you can actually see it done in one of the documentaries on this Blu-ray. He shot the movie with two different cameras simultaneously. Now, this was 2003, so keep that in mind. He shot it with a 35mm camera and a Panasonic HD camera. Now, remember, this was 2003, so HD back then was not the HD that we do now. So, yeah, all those HD scenes don't translate very well to Blu-ray. However, all the 35mm shots look great. They look exactly the way a 35mm film should look on a high-definition disc. Now, obviously, when you watch this on a 1080p screen like I do, you will notice there is a vast difference between the HD camera scenes and the 35mm scenes. However, Tommy Wiseau has actually told me, because I actually got a phone call from him, believe me or not, I did. He actually told me that he went through a restoration process to remaster the HD scenes as best he could with some color correction and other techniques. And for what I saw, for a Blu-ray, and remembering movies like 28 Days Later that was shot very similarly, it actually looks pretty good. Again, it's very noticeable, but it's not a huge distraction for the film itself. Because to me, it could look a hell of a lot worse. It could look like some of the Tokyo Shock Blu-rays that came out, which I believe one of them was for Machine Girl Squad or Machine Girl. Forgive me, I don't remember the name. I'll put a correction. But that one looked absolutely atrocious. Looked like as it was said on Blu-ray.com, it looked like a Sega CD game put on a Blu-ray. So no. Those scenes are not at all anywhere close to the bad quality as that movie was. They actually look really good. Do you see fuzzy and pixelation compression? Yes. But are they as bad as they should look? Absolutely not. They actually look very decent remember, this is all that he had to work with. So he did the best he could with what he had. And for that, I say I give him tops, because he did the best he could with the source material that he had, and it looks pretty decent, at least in my eyes. Audio quality is just the same. It's very, it sounds pretty good. And one thing I got to mention about the sound is that there's this new thing on here. You can actually see on the back, I'll zoom in a bit, called Combo Language with the logo that just says CL. It basically means if you're watching The Room, you can actually have combo languages, which is a way to basically have two different subtitles at the same time. All of them English, but also paired up with another language like French, German, Italian, Spanish, etc. So at the top, you'll have the English subtitles, and at the bottom, you'll have the Spanish subtitles. Personally, I have no use for it because I'm not bilingual, but if you are, then Combo Language is a very interesting new feature that I think some of you should check out. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is actually the packaging for an independent Blu-ray release, especially since, this is only being released by Tommy Wiseau. This is not being released by Shout Factory or Mill Creek or Severin Films or Blue Underground or any major distributing independent company. This is just Tommy Wiseau. He's making these, he's producing these, he's selling these. So keeping that in mind, I have a lot to say. So let's quickly unbox this thing so I can show you what exactly I mean by why this is a very good release for an independent film. Alright, so here we have The Room on Blu-ray. And as you can notice, the artwork is very much different from what everyone's used to. They've altered the eyes so they're not as off, I guess you could say. We got a shot of the Golden Gate Bridge. Can you really trust anyone? Which is the tagline of the room. Nice little spine. Now you notice it's actually made of a, well, you know, a very cheap Blu-ray case. You know, it's very square. But however, when I usually get these from independent studios, they have adhesive that ends up staying, like the glue to the adhesive ends up sticking. I did not have problems with this one. It actually came clean off. So kudos to you, Tommy, for using a very, well, good security sticker for your Blu-ray, because I didn't have to peel away to get all the adhesive off like I usually do. And this one actually feels more secure than other ones. When I close it, it actually feels like it closes. It doesn't feel like I'm breaking it. It's actually made it very sturdy. So anyway, on the back, we have a list of bonus features, which include the behind the scenes, an interview with Tommy Wiseau, trailers, scene selection, deleted scenes, and photo gallery. And of course, a brief summary of the room, which I will read for you. Joined the millions of others who are raving about The Room. Written and directed by Tommy Wiseau, The Room is an electrifying American black comedy about love, passion, betrayal, and lies. It's what happens in real life. You could be with your loving woman, and all of a sudden, boom, she's in bed with your best friend or a family member. The Room depicts of friendships and relationships in one life and raises life's real most asked question. Can you ever really trust anyone? Are you ready to see reflection of your life? Rediscover and re-experience the Room phenomenon like never before. Inside, we've actually got disc art. Yeah, something you don't usually see nowadays on, well, disc-related media. We've also got an insert for scene selections. On the back, there's actually a code for 10% off on any Room merchandise on theroommmovie.com, so I'll be using that later. We actually have internal artwork on the other side of the Blu-ray case. Let's take the disc off so you can see that. You have one of the Room posters that was used, and a framed picture of the pug from the shops that says, "Hi, doggy," and theroommmovie.com. So it's very nice that, you know, because a lot of Blu-rays don't do this. Sony was the specialist in doing inside artwork, which I always liked. I mean, if you're going to do a Blu-ray, since it's a clear case, why not have artwork on the other side of the cover to just make it look a little nice? So, again, Tommy, kudos for doing that, because, again, not many Blu-rays do that anymore. So, yeah, Tommy, you've actually put a lot of work in this Blu-ray. I'm very satisfied. So I'm going to stop yakking. Let's go back to the chair for the review. So yes, the last thing I got to talk about is the price. A lot of people are, you know, saying, oh, $35.99 or $32.49, however price it is, you know, $30. Oh, that's way too much for the Room. Just remember this. Tommy Wiseau relies on sales of the Room merchandise to, well, live, basically. You know, this is his income, basically. The Room merchandise, you know, he sells bobbleheads, he sells T-shirts, he sells soundtracks, and now he's got the Blu-ray. And a lot of people have been wanting the Room Blu-ray, but so many people are just saying, oh, I am not willing to spend $30-something on the Room on Blu-ray. I've actually been told from some sources that he sells these at Screens of the Room for $20. So, hey, if you want to get it for $20, go to Screening of the Room and pick yourself up a copy, and Tommy Wiseau will actually sign it for you for free. But other than that, I'd say, remember, this is what, you know, Tommy Wiseau needs, you know. Is it a very expensive price? Yes, but when you consider that this is just one guy releasing this, he depends on sales of this so that he can, you know, do other things with the Room or do other projects, or better yet, keep a roof over his head. So keep that in mind. It's $35.99. Not only are you getting a very, very stellar release of a cult classic amongst the internet and, well, people like me, you're getting it on Blu-ray, which is obviously the new format, and also you're supporting an independent filmmaker. So, in my eyes, $35.99 is a fair price. I mean, he could be charging $50 for this, so think of that. But no, I give the Blu-ray a lot of tops. In fact, sounds silly, but I think The Room is quite possibly one of the top 10 must-own Blu-rays this year because of all the effort and work that Tommy Wiseau has put into this release. He could have just slapped the DVD on a Blu-ray and sold it, but he didn't. He put work into this. This was 2 years of work, at least from what I've read. So I don't have much else to say. Pick up The Room on Blu-ray. It's really worth it. If you've never seen the movie, well, you're in for a treat. So hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good day.